Good morning, Sam.
Good evening, Mallory.
And welcome back to Nobody Leaves. A Merry Christmas to all, and a good night. A Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of you little guys that we've been collecting like a little rolling Katamari Damacy for 1 year of Nobody Leaves. Now, if you've been sticking around, we have a special Christmas present for you, and that is that
Gee willikers, Mallory, what are we gonna watch on Christmas? It's Christmas time. What happy little fun program have you picked for us?
A sweet little program called Baby Reindeer on Netflix that we're going to be discussing later in the app, Sam. And I know you can't wait, but you know, if you're being good boys and girls and thems, you have to wait for your Christmas present.
Mallory, a theory started about 20 minutes ago when we were prepping for the episode.
Yeah.
Which I was like, I think Mallory picked this not just because it had reindeer in the title, but because you already owned the hat. Am I off base there?
Sam, are you accusing me of something?
I would never.
To audio-only people, which I commend you for not looking at our faces. I really applaud that work, since this is currently only on YouTube. I am wearing a cool little reindeer hat that you can pop the ears up, which I'm gonna...
Tilt your head a little bit so people can get the full effect. Yes, oh my god. It's beautiful. This is the appropriate energy we need to talk about stalking and online harassment and in-person harassment.
Absolutely, Sam. No, it's I timed it all out. I got my head. I used to have a different one, like big reindeer hat. It was huge, but the nose, like, people just like peeled off. It was like one of those like a foam ball or something. Like foam layers, and they peeled all the red off, so it's just like a big Rudolph with like a white nose now. And I was like, that sucks. So I got this one. It's fluff, so the kids can't destroy it. Sam, fun fact about this style of hat. Did you know, I was explaining to you off air the way it works. There's like a little ball in there, and you like, when you squeeze it, the air goes through and it like lifts up the thing. Fun fact, this style of hat was actually popularized by someone that we've covered on this very podcast before. Could you even possibly guess who could have?
Fox?
Nyan from Twice, Sam. She had this. She had like a bunny version, and then she did it, and then it sales. Printing money.
I'm
it's
always
like
thinking
Labubu.
about Twice. This podcast has changed me in the last year. I'm a fan of Has Been Hotel and Blackbeard the pirate. And I'm a once. Is that how you say it? I'm a oncer.
Yeah. How bad can you possibly be, folks?
How bad, indeed. But yeah, we're going to talk about Baby Reindeer for some reason, because you're a psychopath. That's also something I've learned over the last year doing a podcast with you. But before we do that, what you been watching and doing and playing, Mallory? What's up?
Well, Sam, as you're well aware, I've had the flu for the past week, and it has been debilitating. It's been awful. I've not gone to work all week, and that sounds fun, but it's not, because I've just been trapped inside my room. I've been in that, like, liminal state. You know when you're in that state between waking and sleep? Like, everything just hurts so much, but also, like, you can't really, like, go to sleep anymore because you've been sleeping all day. And you just kind of like wander in and out of consciousness.
I wish I could fast forward this day and it just be over.
Oh my god, absolutely, yeah. But around like past couple of days, I've at least been conscious enough to like watch stuff. Which normally most of my hobbies are like making stuff. Like that's what I do with most of my free time. So and not having the like presence of mind to really do that, I've just been watching a lot. Sam, I picked up a new series that I'd never really had like much interest in, and
do tell.
I'd been recommended a few things like recently that kind of piqued my interest and made me check it out. And I'm in love, baby. I went through 15 episodes in a day. And these are 20-minute chonkers. Sam, these are some big eps.
Apothecary Diary Season 2.
Sam, I've been watching Death Note. This is the
What?
best show ever created. I love Death Note.
Death Note is the kind of show that you watch like, I'm sick with the flu. I want to burn through like 37 episodes in like 2 days. You're watching Death Note? How'd you land on that?
This YouTuber Sloan Stowe, who I follow, made this video on Death Note that I watched that I was like, oh man, Sloan Stowe likes Death Note? Alright, I gotta get into Death Note. I think, I just, like, if there's one thing about me, I love Sherlock Holmes, you know? I love Sherlock Holmes.
There's one thing about me, I love murder, so...
I love little murder mysteries. You know, I love my Agatha Christie movies.
No
I love Knives Out. Death Note, but it's like...
Have you not figured out who is the killer yet? Who's Kira? Maybe you had the flu for a little too long.
I'm trying to figure out... I'm like, I think the Death Note might actually be working. I think this might not be a coincidence that all these people are dying of heart attacks. No, listen... the things that I like about mysteries and about Sherlock Holmes, it's not just like the mystery aspect. Mm-hmm. It's the psychological games. It's the twists. It's like the thriller of it. It's the
not
and
to
it's the
actually you from like minute one as a Death Note fan. I'm not. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I would call it like a psychological thriller, probably.
Yeah. I mean, like it's not a mystery in the sense that like we know who the cat and mouse are in this game, like all the cards are on the table, but it's just fun watching like the interactions and like that's
there is a lot of like
fun.
how's what's Light's plan here, or how's L tricking Light, or who's manipulating who, or who knows what.
Yeah, and like that's a lot of like Sherlock Holmes stuff as well, where like there it is usually a lot more built around like a twist mystery, but there is also just this thing of like Sherlock being the most like socially inept like idiot ever that is always gonna like offend people really badly.
Right.
Because he's like such a cool Reddit atheist that like he just has to like he has to break a couple eggs, you know. So I think that like that's like part of the entertainment is like, okay, like even if this is like revealed, how is he going to convince Scotland Yard or whatever, and then he does it in some clever way. I think that like, yeah, this has that similar thing of like, you know, there's optics at play, and there's like people's emotions and their states, and like the little manipulation tactics, and like I love Sherlock and Moriarty stories.
You're watching. Death Note gets a lot of crap these days for reasons that we'll get into when you finish it. But that first like 15 episodes or so goes at like 100,000 miles an hour and is really, really engaging. I would love to like watch it again for the first time. Like I actually read it in manga form. I think at the beginning of this year, I was reading a couple of series that I had previously seen anime versions of. And I was just like, I always want to read manga when it's cold outside. I'm just like, let me read Death Note. I've only ever seen it, and I forgot how like engaging and hooking, how much it hooks you from like thread to thread. As like, Light is always like seconds away from being caught at seemingly all times.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's definitely, I'm a little wary of the fact that you said those first 15 episodes, because I did finish on episode 15, so I'm a little like, okay,
no, you got some good stuff to go.
Half holds up, but
okay. Well, yeah, we'll talk about it when you finish, but like there definitely is a narrative around like what are the better parts of Death Note, but that first, even the first 5 episodes, like up until he kills the FBI agent, like it's pretty like gripping in terms of like you're learning all the mechanics of how the Death Note can be used. You're being introduced to L. He really like blew a home court advantage like immediately by being like, I have this thing that no one knows how it works, and I immediately am almost caught. And like it's preposterous, but you also like start to believe it pretty quickly with like how they explain how quickly they narrow it down, and then it's really tense.
Yes. I think that scene, like the scene where
With the
yeah,
fake
it's
owl
just
on TV.
he's like, I've narrowed you down to Tokyo or whatever, and like all this stuff, and it's like I've figured out you need to know the person's name and see their face. It's like really, like I was just like, ah, I'm in. But I was also like, I'd known because it's been like a meme that I've seen like pretty frequently of like Elle and Light like having the like conversations and trying to like read each other's moon, like was like, is he doing this because he wants to provoke me to do this, like that kind of thing or whatever. So I was
Right.
also like really excited for that. So I think like once it's finally like, and now we're crazy roommates and like
And
we
now we're
hang out
playing
all the
tennis
time.
against each other. And is he playing tennis? Is he playing tennis just to mess with me, or does he know that I'm Kira? Like it gets so
It's
silly.
like he's like, if Light was actually Kira, he would hit the tennis ball into this corner of the. It's really good.
Would he let me win if I thought he was Kira? If he thought he thought I was Kira? It's like what?
Yes, exactly. It's so funny. Yeah, and then
You
the
haven't
introduction of
mentioned.
Misa arc.
I was gonna say I was wondering if you came across Death Note because of like a Misa video essay.
There's a song by Corpse Husband called Misa Misa that I've listened
Uh-huh.
to probably 700 times that I fucking love so much. It's one of my favorite Corpse songs. And it has like a picture of this like cosplayer in the like Misa Misa outfit or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that also I was like, okay, I'm a little bit
Icon.
interested. Like, what's her deal? Absolute icon. So funny. Immediately like the queer coding of the show, just like, and here's the thing, I was trying not to. I was pretty like, I'm not gonna be my obnoxious
Mallory,
typical
you're allowed to
self.
queer code Light and
This
L.
is
Just
Yeah,
FYI.
this is crazy. This one is wild. The
This is
fact
not you
they're
being
like,
one of those crazy gays. This is
yeah.
like it is on Main Street, like from minute not maybe not minute 1, but minute two and a half. Like it's there.
Yeah, no, like especially once they start bringing her in, and it does the classic thing of like he doesn't care about women, but he loves the mystery. There's also just some really good lines, like there's a part where it really made me laugh because she like chases him down. She's like, Naitoku! She like tackles him or whatever. And like his immediate thought, he's like, I've never wanted to punch a woman so hard in my life. It's so good.
Yeah, Light is then he's gay coded for sure, if not like incel coded. Like he is
Yeah.
he's an interesting fella, you know. I cannot I
Just
would you could
very
have paid me
superior.
$1 million, I would never have guessed that was what you were going to be watching.
It was so good. I mean, seriously, I'm like, I can't believe I've gone this long without this series in my life. Like, I feel like I've missed out. I can feel like a new personality core, you know, in like Inside Out where they have the little islands for like the different like I can feel like Death Note Island just like like shaking, rising out of the ground. Oh man,
Wild.
so good. Excited to see.
I'm not going to be able to
where it
top
goes.
that. I saw a Norwegian movie about depression last night that was pretty good.
Cool, man.
A little value. And it stars Luthen Rail from Andor. And it was pretty good, and it was mostly in Swedish or Norwegian, which I think is its own language.
like-
I'm not quite sure.
That's like, I asked an AI to analyze the Nobody Leaves podcast and come up with Sam's next movie. It's like Luthen
you,
Rail in a
no.
depressing Norwegian movie.
I also watched Risky Business. I mean, no,
Oh, that's fun.
I contain multitudes, okay? You know?
That's
Yeah,
good.
so
It was
I
good.
got nothing to say about that. That's just Death Note. Wow. What a world.
Yeah, man. It was good. I've been watching a lot, man. I've been watching because I've had night to do but watch. I've been I watched Stranger Things season 5 volume 1 that was released over Thanksgiving.
Attack on
man.
Titan, the final chapter, part 4. It's gonna end for real this time. Yeah, I gotcha.
This one is broken up cool actually though, because they did 4 on Thanksgiving. They're
And
doing
4 on
4
Christmas,
episodes
right?
in Christmas, and then they're doing like 1 on like New Year's or whatever as like the finale. I'm like, man, that's
Here's
crazy.
how my dumbass brain works, Mallory. I'm already seeing
Yeah.
like ticket sales go up for my local theater to be like, watch the finale in theaters. I don't give
Yeah.
a fuck. I haven't watched season 4. I haven't watched season 5. I've got like
Yeah.
15 hours of Stranger Things to watch if I would want to do that. But because they're putting it in a movie theater, I'm like, maybe I could catch up. I'm like, I'm an idiot. I'm not going to do that.
I'm a little jealous, and I wish I could be in that theater, if I'm being honest. I think that, like, here's the thing. I also didn't watch Stranger Things Season 4. I think Season 4 was either underpromoted or just didn't hit the, like, zeitgeist the way it
I remember.
should. It's a setup season.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I remember
I watched
like
season 4 years
the
after
whole
it aired.
Kate Bush thing and like the whole
Yeah.
like it I don't know anything about it, but like the guitarist character Eddie, I like the things have like permeated out to where like I from osmosis like picked it up. Like I remember it was like the running up that hill summer or whatever. You know, you kids have your brat summer, but we had our Stranger Things season 4.
If only
Kate
Bush.
At the time, I was like, I'm going to hold off on this because it took a long time for season 4 to come out. And so it's probably going to take a long time for season 5 to come out. And now we're like 4 years later or something. Like, it took a long time.
Yeah.
And so I had the reverse effect where I'm now just like, I don't care about Stranger Things. But my entire family is talking about it at Thanksgiving, and they're going to be talking about it at Christmas.
And you're going to be left out from the ST hype?
Yes, my mother actually is like a massive Stranger Things fan, which is
really,
you know, she does not get that way about most shows.
It's good, and here's the reason why Stranger Things is good. You got Joyce in there. Joyce is back. You know, gotta love Joyce.
Winona Ryder making crazy faces.
Just going, just. You know, she's amazing. A cameo from young Joyce this time.
Okay.
We don't see her face, but she still has Winona Ryder's voice, which is so funny. Just
Weird choice. All right.
Interesting, fun choice. Just in like a random scene. And Robin, season 5 Robin. Oh, baby. They knew. They got everything right. Robin is now my favorite character of Stranger Things. Now, Sam, I noticed you might not remember.
No, I saw season 3 and I like fell in love with Maya Hawke, so like I remember.
Okay.
I remember.
Yeah, she's so the way. There's a part where she slides down the stairs on the stair banister, just casually. I mean, what more do you want? Yeah, there's a part where she says, "I like dick." I mean, well, not. Anyway, and then she's in the middle of making a point and then completely gives up and they start talking about something else.
Isn't she
it's a good show.
I'm
yeah, no, she is.
Okay.
Yeah. That's yeah. So it's a good show. I think that I really wanted to try to like time up. Like if we're reflecting on how this podcast has gone, I thought that I would be able to fit in a lot more recommendations than I have. Like now I have a lot more tangible, realistic understanding of the weight of each of my recommendations because I'm not going to get so many that I think. I really wanted to get seasons 1 through 4 and then go back to season 5, you know, like use this as my rewatch, but
it's tough.
Unfortunately, yeah.
If I tried to make you watch, like, Breaking Bad, right?
Right.
That would be, like, 20% of my recommendations for the year. It's just not viable. And we'll have more to say about that in the last few episodes of the year, but we can save that for later.
Definitely. Yeah, no, we really thought we're like, cause going into weekly podcasts, we're like, yeah, this is a lot. Like, we're really going to have to be like digging through the catacombs of like, oh, remember when I enjoyed this movie or whatever, you know, like to try and find something to talk about. Not the case. Surprisingly,
no, there's too many
little
options.
ground.
Too many options, not enough time. If we were doing this full time, it'd be like great because it'd be like, all right, well, we're gonna have We're gonna have like an old school, like we're gonna have like a TV show episode every week, and we're gonna have like a short form episode every week, and da 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 da.
Right.
But
Yeah. That is unfortunate. Well, if we're gonna try and ever make this into a career, and we're actually gonna make this into a living, we're gonna need to get our stuff together. We're gonna need to, pool our funds, and we're gonna need to get out there on the Edinburgh Fringe. Sam, it's time to watch Baby Reindeer.
I can say anything to you, can't I? And you'll just pick and choose the bits you want to hear.
Donnie, Don.
I kissed my girlfriend and she was Hitler.
This show. Let's just jump into it. Yeah, this show. Pulls off the like cringe of failing at comedy very well, and then when the first scene where he's like bad at comedy or whatever, I was like, this is gonna get old fast. But then they show you when he was really bad at comedy, and you're like, oh, you know what? Maybe his current act is not that bad, and like it really does a good job of being like, this is how someone who's never gonna make it like gets a little better over like 3 or 4 years, but is still never gonna make it.
Baby Reindeer makes you feel like you're not gonna make it.
Baby Reindeer. Merry Christmas, Mallory. What the hell is wrong with you? This really did not put me in the joyous holiday spirit, I can tell you that.
Sam, I think I kind of explained this at the end of the last podcast, but there's a song by the Pogues called Fairy Tale of New York that I listen to every Christmas because it would always play on like the TV when I was in the UK, because my family's from the UK, and every Christmas we would go back to the UK.
Yes, you sound like you're from London. Yes,
cold little huts, and it's raining, and it's just cloudy and gloomy, and we're with a bunch of people that don't get along super well, and they're just playing Fairy Tale of New York, and it's just, you're a drunk, you're a maggot, you're a big lazy. Can't say that. So that's like
can't say that one.
That is what we would be listening to, and that's kind of like the Christmas vibe for me. It's like, all right, we gotta like, let's think about life. Let's get depressed. Let's go back. Let's reopen some old wounds. Like
this might be the heaviest like subject matter we've covered on this podcast, and you saved it for the fucking Christmas episode.
It's
never boring, Mallory. This is why you're my podcast co-host.
Yeah, it's I think that it's like the bear episode, the Christmas bear episode. It's just a bunch of yelling around the table, and you can't turn away from it. You know what I mean, Sam? Can't escape. Baby Reindeer.
So tell me this,
really good show.
Context-wise. Yeah. How did you come to the show, and did you watch it prior to us covering it for the show for Nobody Leaves?
I watched it, I think about a year ago, and some change. I was like right before we started the podcast, I think. And honestly, it was probably one of the reasons I was like, man, I got no one to talk to about Baby Reindeer. But I think that it was, I was watching Trixie and Katya, the drag queens. They make like a little YouTube show of like reacting to like different Netflix content. And they made like one about the show Baby Reindeer, and like immediately I was being like, what is this show? What are they talking about? Because I was kind of listening to his background noise. So I stopped watching what they were, and I was like, let me actually like watch the show and like see what it's about. And yeah, I mean, the rest is history. I really like this show because, as I've discussed, I discussed in my hit YouTube video.
Your hit YouTube video on the channel Bad Luck Maru?
Bad Luck Maru.
Yeah. Bad Luck Maru.
Yeah. I discussed it in the Valentine video very briefly, just to say that I have like experienced like sexual assault and stuff before, and I think that like this really resonated with me for a lot of reasons that we definitely will get into. But I'd like to first know what your feelings on the show are. I'm extremely curious because there's like a few kind of like camps of reactions that I feel like people kind of fall into, and I'm curious to like see where you are on that like spectrum, having viewed it.
There are two wolves inside of me. At first, my initial reaction was like, this has the Netflix sheen on it just as a show. Like, I initially approached it from like the production design standpoint, and I was worried that I was getting into what was going to be like an 8-episode dragged out kind of generic like Netflix drama, of which I've seen a handful of and I've skipped a lot of. And there's just something about Netflix shows that they all kind of look the same and they all kind of sound the same, and the pilot's like very heavy on narration and it's using like generic opera music, and I was like, is this gonna actually have the juice? And then the emails started, and I thought that was a really creative choice, and the way they peppered in as like little interludes between scenes. And the more I watched it, the more I was like, no, this really clearly has something to say. Like, this Richard Gadd fellow clearly has put a lot of time and effort into it, in terms of like expressing his own a heightened version of his own experiences, and I think it's pretty well done. It's still at times, there are still at times like plot and production choices that I don't love, but I definitely like did like it is really good at escalating. Like, as the Martha and Donnie relationship continues to get more and more twisted, it always went a step further than I expected. Like, it played that trick on me over and over again. Just like if we're talking about this as like a piece of fiction before we get into like the autobiographical parts of it, like it's pretty good at being like, and then I friended her on Facebook, and then she started stalking my exes, and then she found out where I lived, and then like it just does a good job of being like, every like 40 minutes, like there's like a dynamic shift with these two characters, and as a character study, Martha is fucking fascinating and feels incredibly true to life. Like, I feel like I have met Marthas in my life, or stumbled across them. Like, if you ever find like a Reddit thread that's got like 900 comments and 700 of them are one person, you're like, oh no, oh dear.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's interesting. I don't
know where to start.
For me,
what do you want to dive into first?
I'm so hooked. I'm glad you talked about stuff like production value and stuff like that. I can say like there are flourishes that I do really appreciate, like the incorporation of like tech sounds and stuff like that. The retrofying of all the tech to be like era accurate, you know, like the
this show it's not like, I don't want to say this show is like lazy or anything or was badly made. It is definitely doing creative things with like its shots and whatnot. There's just something about specifically Netflix produced shows where they all kind of look the same, and I was like on Reddit threads and like Googling around to be like, is it like the post-production or like the color grading? Something about it where they all like this show, if you showed like a clip of like that Dahmer show that they made that was like on Netflix and this show like back to back, they would kind of feel the same in terms of like David Lynch like light, not David Lynch, David Fincher light. But they're still making cool choices. Like, they do a lot of crazy like lens work where they make Donnie's face just look insane, and they do a lot of like really interesting like close-ups. So like this, it's got the juice, but normally this kind of show would be like Black Licorice for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I just haven't watched enough like of that kind of Netflix stuff and that kind of style to be like in any way desensitized or like bored by it. But yeah, I was saying that to say just like I think that I am pretty much like all production stuff is just like we're just locked in 100% with like
stuff,
the story and the character and the presentation and like what is actually happening in the thing. I'm crazy about it. I think the biggest question that I have that I'm very curious to talk to you about is your feelings on Donnie, because I like when I was saying about like people falling into different camps, I feel like most of the like reactions I've seen, they're like people have very strong reactions to Donnie, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people will be like, God, I get this was tough, but fuck this guy. Like that is like huge camp number one. And then there's like the he's literally me camp. And like probably within that, like also just people maybe not relating to him, but just being a lot more like
Right.
sympathetic or charitable. I would say those are probably the two. I think he is the biggest, to use a British thing, marmite of the love it or hate it type of divide splits that you're gonna have with the show. So I think that's the thing I'm most curious about. Is your reaction to Donnie?
In general, I was thinking about how people reacted to the show when it came out, like throughout, and I didn't want to look anything up until I was finished with it.
Right.
Generally, like there's a growing contingent on the internet of like morally bad or morally gray characters. Like there's not a lot of sympathy for those kind of characters these days, where it's like
Yeah.
this person is evil or this person is good or this person is. I could see the comment being this person is just as bad as Martha, like being like I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can feel
Right.
the discourse from 3 years ago or whatever when the show came out.
Yes.
I don't think that. I think that the show does a good job of making him like the show is intentional in showing that like he is at times making the problem of having a stalker worse. And then it also
Right.
does the work of being like there's clear reasons why he would want this attention. There's clear reasons why he would be uncomfortable about going to the police when it gets into like his past. That stuff feels a little bit like checking boxes to me, where it's like specifically the framing of like the first 30 seconds of the show being him talking to the police, and then it catches back up to that 3 episodes in, and then it cuts to his sexual assault misadventures in the past with the Darien character. And that did feel a little bit like, no, see, it makes sense. Like, this is why this character's like that. And it's a little simplified in a show that I think is pretty nuanced at times. By and large, I thought he was a fascinating character. It made me think a lot about my own life. It made me think about, like, at times when, like, I was, like, the loneliest, like, in my life. Like, what would I have, who would I have let in, or how easily could I have been taken advantage of? Which is
Yeah.
an interesting question to ask. I think there's a quote in episode 2 that jumped out to me. If you aren't living a life worth living, then can someone ruin it at all? I think that's a fascinating question. Like,
yes,
he is in such a low place at the start of the series. It's almost like Martha's like a positive force in his life, and I think the first episode does a great job showing that off and showing how she works her like her she sets up her foundation to be like a part of his life, but you can also immediately understand why he's put off by her in ways like, 'cause she is very off-putting as a person and very intense. How so? Did Donnie ever lose you? Because I will say, by the time we get to the final episode and he's making his Charlie Day like mood board of like conspiracy or whatever, I'm like, this is starting to get a little silly. And I thought the show maybe could have chopped off the last 20 minutes and I would have been a little bit better off with it. Like, I didn't need him to become successful in his comedy career or whatever, but I thought it was. I know that it's trying to say that like these things have long-lasting impacts and that you can kind of like backslide with it or whatever. Like, this is like both like a show about recovery from trauma, but also about like addiction to stalkerism, I guess, to like parasocial relationships. But not parasocial. What's the actual like non-internet version of that?
Yeah.
Codependency.
Like codependency. There you go.
Right. I thought that it got a little goofy in the last like 20 minutes and a little too cute with like I'll have a Coke on the house. I've become Martha. But it did win me back with the with her final voicemail. But yeah, that's jumping way too far ahead. Did Donnie's character ever lose you, or like where did you come down, and did that ever change in your second viewing of the show?
I mean, I think here's the thing: is like we've talked about what was who's the guy? Is it Tatsuki Fujimoto who made
Goodbye,
Chainsaw
Eri.
Man?
And Chainsaw Man, yeah.
Goodbye, Eri. Yeah, and the story about him like eating his dead fish because he
Eating
wanted
his
to feel
girlfriend's
close to
fish.
it and then throwing up.
Yeah.
He'd never felt yeah, and you said that reminds you of me because we've had a lot of conversations where I've eaten the fish, the proverbial fish.
I think
And-
everyone has this, but you and I know each other
Yeah.
very well. Like
Yes.
I'm gonna make an impulsive decision that's clearly like gonna like harm me or whatever, or it's like not a good idea, or I'm gonna put myself in this scenario that's a bad idea. I think people generally do that. You and I are in the later stages of our 20s, and the 20s are when you make those kind of decisions.
Yeah.
And your friends go, "Why did you do that?" You know?
Did you just say I don't know? Well, that's the thing. I feel like I have been through a lot of that stuff in my 20s, and I think that like for me watching the show is like profoundly like relating to Donnie on a lot of levels. Even like as much as I might get like frustrated, I can never like reject him as like, oh, like I'm nothing like that, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I wouldn't like get into that kind of situation either or something like that. I think that
The show does a good job of
Yeah,
putting
I don't
you
know.
in his shoes. Like I found him to be deeply sympathetic, even as he
yeah.
I do have in my notes, "Help your girlfriend, you fucking idiot," a couple different times. But I
Yes.
I was disturbed by how relatable I found his situations and arcs, and like I think I'm in an okay place now, but I've definitely been in a
Right.
negative. I've been depressed before. I've been in negative spaces. I felt like, where is my life going? This and that. And also like, you know, on the relationship front, like I felt like deep loneliness at times in my life, and so. Yeah, it's a fascinating question of like what can someone do to you at your worst,
Yeah.
and how
And,
can
like,
someone weaponize that against you?
Yeah, and I think that's like the thing that like really gets to me as well. Like for me it was interesting when you were saying the part about Darian, like at least the presentation of like Darian and like his like initial experience of like being assaulted, that like
The flashback
kind of, like-
episode in the middle of the show,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. As being like, why is he doing all this? Oh, here's the answer. Like to me, I just felt like I was like, I've already like invited the Martha in my life before my life. Like I didn't need any of that as like this is like a justification. So it didn't come off like a justification to me. It's just like, oh, here's another bad thing that happened. Like that. That's just
Right.
kind of how it felt to me. Which again, like that's just like how you're taking in information, like feeling it like that. But to me, it's like
the show is using
Yeah.
it as like the excuse. It's like, oh, this is why he's messed up about like his shame when it comes to his relationship with Terry. It's not just like internalized transphobia, but it's also like there is something deeper to it. But also-
there's that. Yeah.
And then also the I thought that was more nuanced and interesting in terms of his like sexual awakening being tied to trauma. Like I think that does happen to folks, and is a very, this show puts it all out there. Like it is a deeply introspective piece of media in that sense, and like that is like a fascinating is kind of the wrong word here, but like that is like a interesting thing to discuss. Like something that goes under discussed is how like things like rape and sexual assault can like change you, not for good or for ill, but I mean obviously for ill in other ways, but like can have an effect on your sexuality. Like that is like a that's something that like people I think inherently know, but it doesn't it's often not discussed, right? And so I think that in those
Right.
aspects, I think the show is doing a great job. It did feel like I think it's specifically like the like in medias res. Why hadn't I gone to the police? Why had I let this go for 6 months? Okay, we've caught up. Here's why. It was because of Darian. Like that, just the framing
Yeah.
kind of I bumped up against. I think the character stuff with that character is all very well done.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense. Yeah, I just want to talk about the characters. I think
Sure.
like sh- it's just like cool. To me, I think the thing of the show is like the reason why a lot of stories like this are not clean is because there are like moments when if you're like watching on TV, if someone's telling you like this happened to me, like I went through this experience or whatever and I made a mistake, like some people are gonna have the kind of attitude of like, why did you do that? Why were you doing this? Like that kind of thing. But like a lot of people, like if you're saying like this is what happened, like people are gonna like nod along. A lot of people like the why did you do this? Like that impulse they cannot help but like let out when you're watching it happen because you're just experiencing it differently. It's like it's happening for real,
Well,
and you're in that like horror movie mindset of like, don't open the curtain, don't go down.
Yeah,
the...
it shows you that it's
Yeah.
having an effect on the viewer, which is an impressive thing. Like that's
Yeah.
when I was talking about how like the slide into as the Martha and Donnie relationship deepens and gets more and more messed up layers of like her showing up at his comedy set or the emails or her finding his phone number, like all that, like it has a horror movie feeling to it of like,
Yes.
no, don't go over there, or like, no, don't go to her house, like what are you doing, or like, no, don't
Yes.
just leave her on the bus stop, like no, even, but you get why. And yeah, like that.
Yeah.
It's a good show for being like, I want to jump off the couch and be like, stop it, like many times.
Yeah, which is good, and I think that like I like the story being presented to like that because I think that is just like the truth behind so many like there are plenty of like abuse and assault situations where like someone is completely minding their business and is jumped off of the street and didn't do and followed all of society's rules and did everything right and they got punished for no reason. Like that absolutely happens, but there's also like a huge number of stories where it's like it's a little grayer, you know what I mean? Like the stalker, like just people I've known in my personal life who like the reason why the stalker chose them is because they were, of the available options, they were the nicest one to them. You know what I mean? They gave them the most
Right.
benefit of the doubt. And it's like it's so murky. It's so like, and then this show just really like does that like who's the victim, who's the abuser, like flipping, like the, Donnie clearly looks down on Martha and clearly it's like condescending and he feels like something that he can control because like she has stuff about herself that she clearly is like not in control of. Like she clearly cannot control like an amount of her rage. She's not able to skillfully like she's not able to like put on a mask of like competence in a way that is like most people are, and like she's not able to like be skillfully charming or whatever. So like in those kind of arenas he's able to like run circles around there, and that
Right.
that makes
She's
her
socially
feel smaller.
awkward. She's
Yeah.
not conventionally attractive. She
Yeah.
is like unstable, I think is a fair statement. But
Yeah.
but you can they do a great job. My favorite episode of the show might be the pilot because they do such a good job
It's
of
really
showing how small talk can dramatically evolve and be misinterpreted and build. But it's also like I don't blame Donnie at all for having like treated Martha kindly and like bantering back and forth with her and giving her Cokes for free. Like that is something in my life. I have formed relationships with bartenders, and that's like a weird dynamic where it's like someone who's there in a service role, and it's really easy to take advantage of that person, and I definitely try not to do that as a patron, but I can totally see how people can show up to bars and be, you know, like flirted with or treated nicely, and then be like, well, clearly the bartender's in love with me, and I better get my Coke with lots of ice. Damn you, you know, or like why?
Yeah.
And then you show up on a busy night, and it's like, why isn't my bartender treating me like a princess? It's just a strange dynamic.
Yeah. It's like I think it's just it's fun because like it's just really living in that gray area with like all these different things, and like
until it's not until it gets really bad.
Yeah, no, totally.
Here's a question for you. When do you first flip on Martha and you're like, okay, I'm no longer sympathetic, this is immediately going too far? Like, what's your first this is too far moment?
Honestly, from the jump, lying really gets me. I really don't like when people lie. I think as soon as she starts talking about like
the contact
I've
book
got all
with
these
David
clients,
Cameron in it,
you know, I've got to keep it to myself, you know. But I'll let you know, it's David Cameron. It's like I'm immediately put on the like, oh, okay, like, you know.
You and I have known like pathological liars in the past, and it is as soon as like the veil is like lifted from your eyes, it's like, I don't trust this person, I'm in danger, or like this is a bad like get out of this conversation like, kind of moment. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but I think also like when you're like, she does the thing with social as that's the other thing. This is just so like, you know, forget Death Note, like the Martha the like the if they had monologues going on with like Martha and Donnie, like that you would just have like so much, because like she's doing the thing where she's so bad at socializing, it like loops back around to being good, because she's like, when you throw out something like, yeah, you know, I'm a personal like legal aid to David Cameron, like in the first minutes of a conversation, it's like, okay, this person is full of shit, but like it's so full of shit to the point of like it's kind of
let's see where this goes.
And, like, yeah,
and
exactly.
Donnie's in the wrong there, but it's like I understand that impulse as well. Like I'll, you know, every once in a while, like a homeless person will walk up to me and just make up an entire yarn. And sometimes I'm like, I'm deeply moved by the humanity of this, and I feel bad that this person feels they have to lie to me to secure funds for whatever things they need. And other times I'm like in a mood, and I'm like, oh man, yeah, sure. Tell me all about it. Like, so there are times where like I, you know, fall to my lesser impulses, and I'm like, I know this person's fucking with me or lying to me or just trying to get money or whatever, and I'm darkly amused by that, and that is a fucked up dynamic. That is horrible, and, you know, fucking internet kill me now. Like, but I think that people have times where they've been in that situation, and it's like, there is something, when you get past the, like, this is horrible, and this is like a bad dynamic, and I feel bad for this person, and like this person clearly has issues or whatever, you're only left with like, well, isn't this just crazy? And there is a certain level of like, well, it's not a slow night at the bar because of this.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Is that too far? Have I like completely lost you?
No, like I was flashing back to my own. There's like an old man that lives like in our area who just every time he sees me will be like, "Do you know John F. Kennedy? Do you know?" Because I'm like American. "Do you know Edgar Allan Poe?" And then like he'll just like sit there and like compare me to like fucking like Princess Diana, and he's like, "You're as beautiful as like Emma Watson." I'll be like, oh, "Yeah, thanks, man." Like,
yeah, you live in a city long enough. You just like there are characters in cities, right? Like there are like
yeah,
I don't want to
and it's
pick
like
on homeless people because that's wrong, but like there are
right.
there are people you meet. Like I know of like there's people who run drive-throughs that I go through too frequently to where I start to recognize them, right? And I'm like, oh, there's this person again, and like what's gonna happen this time? And it's just like,
and I want to sit there like.
But you can't always
had
be the
couple...
like virtuous, sympathetic person, right? Like sometimes you're just like, that was crazy.
Yeah, like you're passively kind of experiencing whatever they're throwing at you, you know? So it's like in that situation, like I sat with him on like a couple occasions and just like listened to him like yammer on about whatever, because I'm just like, oh, he just like needs attention, whatever. I'll just like talk to him for a little bit, and then like it started becoming clear. It's like, okay, like he's gonna really just
he will
do the thing
forever
that Martha does, where. Right. When you try to get up, like he will throw out stuff that will make it socially uncomfortable or awkward for you to leave, and it will reach the point where the only way out of this situation is to be socially awkward. Like you have to break some social convention in order to like disengage from this person, otherwise they will like never let you go. I don't know that this guy is necessarily homeless, just because of like the way Japan is about it, but like I think that he definitely is not getting enough attention and is just like relying on random strangers like to just try and talk their ears off. But I think that like
you'd like to think that like you can meet this person in the moment every time, but sometimes like if they catch you at a moment of weakness or whatever,
if I'm rushing
homeless people, I've been in a hurry, I don't know why this conversation's changed to like Sam bullies homeless people. I swear I don't, but
no, seriously, it's the way it is. It's the reality.
We're not operating at 100%, right? Like it is reality. There are times where like, I mean, how many times have you had this happen living in a city of like, hey man, can I just talk to you for a second? And then it becomes like if you stop and you start talking, it becomes like a 3-minute thing where you know where the conclusion is and that person knows where the conclusion is. And sometimes it feels just better to keep walking. But that is it's a little dagger at your own soul, and it's dehumanizing to that person. But we're not always operating with our best angels, in mind.
Totally.
And so
Donnie,
I
think
so to take it back to Baby Reindeer, Donnie like going along with like the jokes with his like worst coworkers in the world, like the other barkeeps, you get it. If he's like a little exhausted and a little tired of Martha in that moment and has been dealing with Martha for 6 weeks or whatever, you understand why he starts to like pick at her and be kind of a bully, even though it started from like a good place of just being like, this person looks a little pitiful. I'd like to, give them a little small act of kindness.
Yeah, because she is also like being an asshole, like from
100%.
the jump. Like she's lying to him. She's taking advantage of like social like the thing I said, like
social
taking
niceties.
advantage of like social niceties and social cues and his like station, the fact that he works there and that he's not able to like
weaponizing that dynamic of patron and barkeep.
Yeah, so it's not like these barbs that are coming from like absolutely nowhere. It's like okay, I'm gonna put up a wall finally, and yeah, I think it's really effective in showing like, like then we get to what she's like good at, because she's not good at like being normal in a social
That's the best part.
Conversation.
When he's like, and then sometimes she could be strangely insightful. That's so real. Like when you meet someone who's like completely unfiltered and kind of crazy, sometimes like you get like interactions you'll think of like weeks later.
Yeah, no, for real. Like I was at the checkout of this one store, and like this like lady with dyed hair is talking, and like I immediately trust anyone with dyed hair. Like it's just like kind of as an ex dyed hair. We are a people. We know each other. But like I'm talking to her and she's just being like, don't you think Japan moves too fast? Like sometimes you get Japanese people being like, doesn't Japan suck? Don't you agree? And you have to be like,
doesn't Japan let in too many immigrants?
Tux color.
You're sitting there like, I'm from North Carolina.
Yeah, no, it's like I'm talking to her and she's like, doesn't it like feel like a service? I'm like, I don't know, or whatever. And it's like, and then she's like, you seem like you'd be more at peace somewhere where everything's just moving at a little bit of a slower pace. And I was like, Jesus Christ, lady.
Don't bring me in on your weird thing, lady. Yeah, no, I know that feeling.
No, because it's like, but I'm like, you're just going straight for like, she's like, I can tell you're, I'm like, dude, come on. Like, you cannot just read.
You've got pain. I've had someone tell me, like, you have sad eyes or you have pain in your eyes before, and I'm like, fuck you. You don't know me. Like, yeah, but you don't know me. Like,
yeah, but
we all have insecurities,
but then
right?
it's also
that's
like,
normal.
But then you're also like, is that what you tell all the, like, if you say someone has pain behind
100%.
their eyes, like, that's
it works on like 90% of people. Yeah, no, like it's
right.
fucking like gestures outside. Like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I
so
bet
I
you
think
have
it's like
a complicated relationship with your parents.
yeah, right.
I guess like.
But she is really effective at like just like she's got that vulnerability, and then like she's really good at like doing the thing that happens in abusive relationships where she disincentivizes the behavior that she doesn't want, like her like violent outbursts and stuff like that, and it doesn't feel like fully like she didn't want to yell in that like coffee shop or whatever, like the
Right, that
don't
was a
you
moment
dare, like that scene,
where
right?
she lost control, right? But she's trying to like put up
Right.
a facade of like a desirable like person.
And it's like, I think that like, but however, like scenes like that and stuff, it's like, or scenes where she like bursts out crying because of like being assaulted or whatever, and it'll like switch him to being like, oh, don't cry, Martha, or whatever, and she starts like hating herself and stuff like that. It's like, it doesn't feel like fully a farce that she would just like start crying and self-harming because she's been insulted, or that she would like lose her temper completely and like lash out.
But it is manipulative.
But it's also it's like she has these like traits, like she has this like murder mouth, like this like anxious need to like keep filling space with conversation. She has this anger, she has this like deep sadness that she's able to channel, and she kind of knows like, okay, I pull a little from this basket, I pull a little from like I kind of like I turn into this Martha in this
on,
moment.
Like sad here, let me crank the dial on like promiscuous or funny here, and like I can get what I want out of someone, right? Even though she's someone her life's not going great, she's still like weirdly successful at weaponizing social conventions, like you were talking about with
absolutely
Mr. Do you know JFK man, which is I've never heard that story. That's crazy.
He's a really funny guy.
How do you feel about the show and humor? Because I will say, I think it does a really good job of slipping in incredibly dark. It's like very dark subject matter, obviously, and it just continues to get like darker and darker as you get to like 6, 7, and 8. But there's just little details that like completely sent me. I paused the screen when it was showing her baby name suggestions, and I wrote them down. Egbert,
oh my god, please.
Egbert number 1. Egbert. Keith. And then my personal favorite, Neo. Like, she saw The Matrix 30 years ago, and it really stuck with her. And I was like, that's incredible.
Oh, man. What if we're living in a bloody Matrix? No, it's so good. I think that there's so much humor of like there are a lot of timing of like the messages, you know.
The timing of the message is great. The misspellings, the sent from my iPhone that's clearly typed out every time and it's not being sent by an iPhone. What an insane thing to do. What a weird detail that just like that clearly, like that's, I don't want to speculate. I think people are probably, I remember there being discourse about this show and people being like, what's real and what's elevated for the for the story, right? Talking about Richard Gadd's like real life. That detail, I'm like, that's true to life. Like my old like journalism ethics lessons or whatever, I'm like, that's a detail that like is ripped straight from a person's life. Like I have a stalker and I don't know why, but she clearly types out "sent from my iPhone" after every message. That jumped out to me as like what a
Absolutely.
weird thing to do.
I think that, like, aside from, like, maybe names in the actual messages, like, to me, it really seemed like the messages themselves were, like unaltered, you know? Like,
I
they just...
agree. Or
like,
if
the
not word for word, like the
erraticness.
style, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, yeah, all those details, to me, like, the comedy, I just find her so funny. Like, just there's something so funny to me of, like, the pre-rehearsed, like, bit when she's coming in and she has the like the quips, you know,
Ready
and
to
she's
go.
just been like cooking it up, and it's like it's so overdone, it's
Yes.
so overcooked. She's like,
You can feel her like
she's
standing
coming in, like,
outside, being like, okay.
she's like
Donny
rehearsing
boy,
the, like,
reindeer, you know.
she's like, I'm gonna have to call you Mr. Bum because you've got a big bum, and we're gonna go to the bum police and go and live in Bumland with all the bum.
The bloody weather is weathering today, right, chap? Like,
She's
it
like
is just
raising
no.
her like eyebrow the whole time while she's doing it, like she's being so quirky. I don't know. It's like, to me, that is so real to me,
Deeply
and
uncomfortable,
that
but
just
also
gets a
darkly
laugh out of
funny.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like
The-
when you just like have someone like that that's just so like I'm like, you put so much sauce on this social interaction. You thought so hard about like what is going to be said, to the point that it's like I'm not like talking to a person at all right now. I'm like I'm like going through, I'm like skipping through
I'm
like
reading a
dialogue
script. Yeah, like,
options in a video game.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. That's
Yeah.
And you can feel him getting so like over it. Like, this was like a fun thing for like a week or two, and then God, I have made a mistake. And then when she gets
Right.
his email, boy, I've made a mistake. The thing I kept thinking is like, when would I have pulled the eject cord, and how would I have not?
Yes.
Like, because obviously Donnie makes horrible decisions throughout in terms of like making the situation worse, like following her home, like not trying to establish clear boundaries immediately, trying to use Martha logic against her just to like break things in a nicer way.
Yeah.
That, to me, I could see myself doing and being like, that was fucking stupid. Why did you do that, Sam? Like, the like, oh, we're just too far apart in age. Like the letting her down easy thing, I understand completely. I think if I was getting 500 emails a day, I would be like, listen, I think I'd be going to the police a lot sooner, obviously. But I know that, again, they justify why, and I think that it half works.
Yeah, I think there's time to it as well. I think that, like, even though this would have happened in like the 2010s or something like that, it's like things have changed. I think like you and I are like a lot more aware than, you know, like probably the average 28-year-old would have been, like, you know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, right? Like,
and on top, and I know that the
um,
show is playing with the like the men can be stalked too, but it's like not taken seriously, right? Like, that is an aspect of the show
yeah,
that is like understandable. And like, stalking rules in general, whether it's a guy stalking a man stalking a woman, or a woman stalking a man, or what have you, it's always fucked up and annoying and complicated, and police can't do enough. But also,
yes,
the show, there's a couple moments where the show, I'm like, really? like I'm like this is getting to where it's too silly to me, where I like it feels like it breaks with reality. One for
I'm
me
curious
was,
which parts.
so
Good.
the Martha recording everything, and the police being like, she's a genius, I don't know what to tell you, she got us, you're I now don't want to see either of you. I'm like, hold on, let's start with the, like, she's recording hundreds of hours of interactions. Like, I think that part was a little silly
Well,
to me.
I think they're just so mad because he, like,
Right.
he lies to them, and he says that, like, he's gonna have
tries
sex with
to-
her or whatever.
he elicits, or he incentivizes her to send a threatening email to get himself out of the situation faster, right? Is the thing.
Yeah, I think they're mad about that. Like, they are.
I
they don't like
I
that.
get that, but the, like, we're just gonna throw you to the wolves now, fuck you, felt a little like, okay, come on. Like, that's a little silly. The other one that jumped out to me was Martha in I think it's the second comedy show she goes to, where she's like reading out the email, like, he told me to do it in the bum, and she's like showing the audience, and the audience is like kind of being like, oh, huh. I'm like, no one would be like, oh, huh, to that. Like, she's clearly insane. Like, there's a couple of moments where, like, they're ratcheting up the, like, Donnie, like, social interaction tension, like, nightmare fuel, but it goes so far that I'm like, no real person would, like, no one in that audience would be like, maybe the woman who started singing Nancy Sinatra in the middle of the show, maybe she has a point. And I'm like, no, she doesn't. Like,
yeah, I think, to me, I can understand that, like, the people being, oh, like, I can understand
just for the drama
that
of the show.
being,
I get it. But I was
yeah,
like,
I feel like
up.
for him, like, internally, it probably feels like that, even if, like, no one in the room is signing. And I kind of almost wish they had, like, done it in a way where you could, like, see him break from reality a little bit, because he feels guilty now, because he's like, oh no, I did have that text that, like, everyone's gonna believe that text, even though, like, that doesn't make any sense, you know? Like, I think that
well, even
like,
though it's super dramatic, his monologue towards the back end of the show, like when he breaks completely and like just throws away his comedy career, that to me, like, they have no music, they have really, like, realistic looking crowd shots of people just being like even his obnoxious and, like, over the top bar friends are just, like, sitting there with their arms crossed, uncomfortable. Like, that's a moment where the show's like, it feels raw and it feels true to life, even though this person's doing something pretty extraordinary. And then it gets into and then I went viral and that all worked out. But I could kind of see that happening. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's also, like, it seems really heavily based on a 2-story. I will say that part in terms of that. So there's, like, a part of that where I kind of agree. Like you were saying earlier in the pod that, like, you could do maybe thought, like, the last episode or the back half of the last episode of like him blowing up in success and that kind of stuff. And I do kind of agree. It's like
bother me because I thought it tied in well to, like, his parents, like bringing his parents back into the mix and, like, showing how, like, Martha getting his phone number, like, these things don't just go away because you've suddenly had, like, an emotional catharsis. That was all I needed. I didn't need, like, and then I entered my own Martha Mind Palace, and I was writing on the walls, and my ex-girlfriend had to pull me out of it. Like, that's the part where I was like...
That's what I'm talking about.
And I can even accept the, like, becoming obsessed with the voicemail thing. That felt true to me a little bit, like listening to it like a podcast, or being in a strange legal situation where, like, the onus is on you to find the threatening message. That felt like maybe a detail pulled from reality or from his own experience. It's when it gets to, like, the red strings on the wall part where I'm like, oh, this is a little silly.
No, I feel that. And it's like, I think, like, and it does have its place. Like, it's like the reason why a lot of people don't litigate is because they have to, like, you know, relive and, like, go through all this, like, they have to be stuck in the case for, like, a extended period of time just to, like,
I mean, if you're being stalked, you're not really, like, saving voicemails and thinking about, like, well, how will I use this in court later? Like, you're being like, oh, that's really upsetting, I want to get rid of that immediately, right? Yeah, so I understand that part, but I do feel like, like, the other side of it and his success and stuff, I do feel it's like I'm kind of just like, oh, I'm kind of just interested in the real story of this guy, and that's like a big, like, the real history of this guy is that he did, like, his I think it was called Monkey See Monkey Do, about his, like, sexual assault, and like like post this, like, you know, break that he had on stage, he just started doing, like, these dramatic pieces that weren't comedy, like a one-man show, had, like, kind of like a monologue mixed with stand-up kind of talk about like what it's like to have a stalker or what it's like to be sexually assaulted, right? Like, that's the idea.
And he's like, he's doing the voice of Martha on stage and himself, and he's, like, acting things out, and, like, that was, like, successful and what led to the Baby Reindeer thing in general. So it's like, at that point it kind of, like, flips to, like, interesting commentary about the show, like, about making a show about real people. That is like one thing that I do want to talk about. I also want to talk about we haven't even talked about Terry
Right.
Diva, but I think that we are gonna. I do want to talk about this because it just feels like where the conversation is naturally heading is like to talking about like the real lifeness of it and the ethics, I suppose, around it.
So I looked into it a little bit.
Yeah.
And of course, immediately, life imitating art, imitating life. Piers Morgan is like, oh, this person's a psychopath and is like stalking people. I'll have her on my show. I'm like Nancy Grace. I'm the devil. I'm the devil, Mallory. And I'm like, okay, well that sounds about right. I'm sure she went on Bill Maher too. But
few motherfuckers on this earth that live and breathe that I do not detest more than Piers fucking Morgan, dude.
I saw that and I'm like, yeah, that tracks. Anyway,
yeah.
For those who don't know, the person that the Martha character is probably based on, the internet immediately tried to find out who the real person was, which is classic internet, not getting the thing. But then also that person went on Piers Morgan and sued Netflix. Didn't sue GAD, which I thought was an interesting little tidbit, just like in the brief Wikipedia diving about the show. But which feels like a Martha move. To walk it but we can still salvage our relationship, right, Donnie?
Yeah.
But yeah, what did you specifically want to talk about with all that? Do you mean the ethics of telling your personal story, but having someone who's got a one-to-one in real life as the character? Is that what you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, because I think so there's the like kind of more standard side of this conversation, which is like don't stalk and try to find the people that the real thing was the realistic based on a true story thing was like based on. Don't try to find them and then contact them or dox them or interact with them or share like blow up their spot or whatever and give them
one
like
beat
undue
of
attention.
Don't assume that because a thing is autobiographical that every detail is true to life, right?
For sure.
You make it. If someone made a Netflix show about my life, there would not be 10 hours a week dedicated to me trying to install Baldur's Gate 3. You know, like that's which is what I did this week. And for just a little anecdote. But
yeah, a lot of me sitting in government offices is going to be hitting the cutting room floor. A lot of me like
there's so much spreadsheet work, Mallory. I'm in Excel every day and life is hell.
Yeah. No, I think that it's like people don't try to interact. Like it's not your little entertainment. It's not drama. Don't try to like interact with people like that online. You may feel anonymous. You may feel like, oh, someone other than me is going to do it. Just don't be the person. Okay. Just
don't be the person.
Be one more person that's not engaging with that kind of bullshit.
Right.
Don't make YouTube videos about the real life Baby Reindeer is crazy. Don't do that. Okay.
Don't do it. Don't watch them.
Just don't click on it.
Just don't.
Like,
hey, audience.
It's really frustrating.
Just don't.
Just don't. And obviously don't be Piers Morgan. But I think that's like the obvious category.
If you take away
to me, it's
anything
like,
from this episode of the podcast, don't be Piers Morgan. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
2A. Let's hear it.
2A. I think that like the it's interesting because so it's not the creator's fault that people are gonna do what they do. They shouldn't. They should independently not stalk and dox this like mentally ill person, nor give her a bunch of attention, or all this kind of stuff. But also like, it's not like he didn't make them do that. However, like also knowing that that's going to happen. I think like something we've like talked about on this podcast is like we try to not really use the real names of our friends and stuff. Like we like if they have an online alias, we'll like throw it out there. Like I think about as like writing, even writing stories that like no one's gonna ever look at or see the light of day. I'm like I do have like a little bit of thought in my mind of like, okay, like how close is this to like a real life person? Like what stuff can I like mix in there that's like making it more of a character and less of a this? But then it's like, it's interesting to me because I think there's, there's an obvious. I'm presenting the argument, obviously, you could make, which is that like he maybe holds some responsibility to like not put out so much information
to putting more attention onto this person and onto this situation, right?
Yes,
you could say it's pouring gasoline on a fire.
Yeah.
However, I think you and I have a different opinion on it.
Exactly, yeah. Because I do think the other side is like, I think this is like such a unique story that like couldn't be told. I feel like I've benefited a lot from this story in general. Like, I think that like it's made me feel less alone in like, again, like being in situations like this where like being like stalked or assaulted or like whatever, where it's like the relationships I had with these people were messy and complicated, and I made bad decisions, and it's very easy to, again, if you had like the horror movie character view of my life, be like, don't do that,
right?
Like,
I would never do that. Oh yeah,
right. But it's like internally you can feel all sorts of guilt and like messed up about it because on some level that it's just not as clean of a narrative as like you might want it to be, and like the type of person who commits that type of abuse is also going to be the type of person that, well, you like the Martha is like, well, you showed up at my house, well, you did this or whatever.
Right.
You said
who am I to say that
random
like
joke, yeah.
Richard Gadd cannot work through his pain through his art, right? Like that's like
right.
That's part of the process for a lot of people who are into writing or stand up or what have you. Mallory, I've been.
But then it's also
Mallory, I have an English degree. You have an English degree. We've been in a lot of terrible writing workshops over the years. What is the number one piece of advice that it takes a million years for people to learn? Write what you know.
Yeah, okay.
You know why every protagonist in every book you ever read is a fucking English teacher or an alcoholic or both? It's because you're supposed to write what you know. And a lot of writers are English teachers or have been, and a lot of writers are alcoholics. So, like, I'm just firing fucking shots at Stephen King for no reason. But anyway, who is openly about all of those things. Read on writing. It's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a bit of an ethical quandary with, like, write what you know, so pull from personal experience, but also don't, like, blow up the spot, right? Don't put something that's so personal into your art without maybe telling the other person. In this case, he shouldn't contact this person at all. This person, I think, is deserving of the attention they get because of the actions they have done. But that your mileage may vary on that take.
Yeah. Right.
But like there is, everyone interprets their own life and their own truth from their own biased perspective, right? And so when you pull from your own life and put it into your art, it still remains part of your perspective. And I think this show and this project does a great job of Richard Gadd being like, I was in the wrong through a whole lot of this process, but I am still a victim. And I think that is like a very honest, albeit hyper dramatized version of like how life goes. And yeah, good show is all I have to say about all that.
Yeah, no, definitely. But it is. Yeah, no, it's definitely like an interesting. Like, I think to me, it's like because I still get hung up on the extent of like, work through your trauma through your art. But does that have to be the one that goes on Netflix? But at the same time, like, again, I feel like I've benefited a lot from this. And also, like you said, it's like, to what extent is like Martha, like real life Martha, we're just going to call her because we don't want to put more attention on this person.
I don't know this person's real name. And I don't have any desire to bring it up on the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. But like she did not have to come forth and be like, this is based on me. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like,
but because she's the kind of person she is, of course she was going to do that.
Right. And
I can also, there's another aspect of it that's maybe a little more sinister, which is if I'm Richard Gadd and this is the most successful thing I've done, and it resonates with the most people, and I've got people coming up to me and being like, I feel seen by this, like when it's a one-man show version of this project.
Yeah.
How am I gonna not turn down, life-changing money and fame or what have you?
Right.
Like, it is, when you take it to that level, it gets a little bit more sinister, but also there's a million shows that go on Netflix a year, and you have no idea which one's gonna resonate with people and which one's gonna, like, light things on fire. This show won a bunch of Emmys. This show was, like, of the moment for, like, 3 months. I remember when it came out, like, you don't know that something's gonna resonate with that many people, and also the fact that it is indicative of the fact that maybe it's a story that should be told.
Yeah. Can I tell you something that's gonna like freak you out about this show?
Please
is
do.
that Richard Gag talked about when he released it on Netflix, like that night he hit play on it on Netflix to just like play through all the series on like multiple computers.
So that it did good in the
because he
algorithm?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I did that 20 minutes before we started recording with my stupid Hollow Knight short. That is so,
Yeah. So it's like it also does put in perspective of like he didn't necessarily know like this was gonna be winning like film festivals and stuff. Like I think
right.
At the same time it's the most successful thing he's ever done, and it was the most successful thing he had ever done, and it is now become this even more successful thing, and now
and
he's
it's
like
emotionally
he's making
resonant
like
with you and me and many people who've watched it,
Yeah.
right? I found a
So,
super
yeah,
disturbing
it's-
thread on Reddit when I finished the show, and I was just Googling around. I found an entire subreddit that's basically dedicated to people who know that they are stalkers and are trying to not be stalkers. And it had some internet term to it, and I don't remember what it was, because I was like, this is super disturbing, I'm going to leave this. And it was essentially like a long, page-long like Reddit post being like, I'm going to seek help. I see so much of myself in Martha, and that's really disturbing to me. And it seemed like an entire subreddit dedicated to that kind of thing. And I was like, okay, it's enough internet for me for today. But I was just like,
yeah,
that's heavy and crazy. But it's also
Yeah.
strangely positive.
Yeah, I mean, if it's helping the stalker community not stalk, like, you know, I think that's fair. Like, I do think it is an impactful story. Like, ultimately, I'm more like it's something that I do feel like a non-0% ethically dubious about, but I am also just like, I'm glad it exists, and I think that if we're just looking at a brass tacks like positives and negatives, I do think the positives outweigh the negatives. I'm just like, yeah, it's an interesting topic to me because it's something that I think about ethics that is like beyond just the like don't dox people, which is like yeah, you know, we get it, like don't do that. That I was like interested to talk, but. There's little tidbits on the show, and then I want to talk about Terry. One thing, Jessica Gunning, the actress for Martha, amazing, phenomenal woman, 10 out of 10,
Excellent
superstar.
Performance, unbelievable.
So good. She is absolutely locked into the character. Like you watch all the moods, like every frame of painting, like run across her face, like she's so cool. She came out as lesbian shortly after the like it premiered, which was really sweet. She also like told one of my favorite stories, which this has been told in a bunch of interviews, which is that like a little bit after the show release, there was this fan who talked about this interaction who like finished watching the series, went outside, walked around the corner and ran into her, like the real life actress.
Wow.
And went, no!
I am frightened immediately.
It's terrifying. So she has like that like horror villain like you know like thing going on now where people are scared of her in real life. It's really funny.
Yeah, I've been to a bar twice while watching this show, and it was on my mind when I was like sitting at the bar, just being like, "Don't be a Martha," or like, "I wonder how many Marthas this person has dealt with," or what have you.
Yeah, definitely. I want to talk. I know we're wrapping up here, but we have not talked about Terry.
Quick fire on Terry. Another character who I think is maybe a little bit who at times I think is like beautiful and an amazing character and like who I felt a lot of sympathy for, and then at other times has to be like part of the plot and have to be part of like the drama ratcheting up or what have you. So I think sometimes she makes some decisions that feel like we're just trying to, crank up the drama a little bit.
Yeah.
That's
are you talking
all my
about the?
thoughts. I'm talking about.
Is it the part where? Yeah. Go ahead.
The one specifically for me is I'm gonna show up with all my friends to the comedy show of the person who spurned me. That's a crazy thing to do for a character who generally seems to be, who up until that point is presented as being like pretty normal and like has great reasons to be like not thrilled about how her relationship's going with this character, and like is very emotionally intelligent and is picking up on all these things that are going on behind the surface with Donnie. I would have loved some kind of a coda with her. Like, I think you get the one thing where he is again becoming the Martha of the show and is like sees her like leaving a coffee shop with a guy and is like maybe stalking her for a second, and that's just like a little throwaway thing they throw out there. But yeah, good character. I think who the fuck cares what I think about this character? What do you think about this character? You have your life experience, I think, has more to do with this character than mine.
Terry from Baby Reindeer is everything to me. Listen to me.
I understand.
I love her. I think, like, I don't mind, because I think her, like, one flaw is him. Oh, I love women. she's like, she cannot, like, that's her weak spot. Like, she just wants to see, yes, it is dramatic timing that it happens to be the one where everything's like building to a thematic crescendo that like that happens to be the show that she comes to see with like all of her friends who have her back, who will just like give him the most menacing glares.
It's very funny, and it's very like
yeah,
it's twisting the knife as you're watching it. I just thought that like that character wouldn't do that. Like, it's a weird thing to do,
right?
To be like, hey, ex-boyfriend, I'm here with all of my friends to bully you. And I'm like, Terry, you're better than this. But
so good. But she just falls back into it. I think that like she's just crazy.
Can we talk about the sexual dynamics? Yeah. I thought that was super nuanced in terms of like I don't this can easily get way too personal, so we don't have to get into it, but like
yeah, for sure.
A trans woman having sex and their partner being not reciprocal or being reciprocal for the wrong reasons or what have you, like that has got to be a very thorny thing like to contend with, right? And there's clearly times where Terry, who has no information the entire show about what's going on with Donnie, like does not know his background with Darian, does not know the extent of the Martha problem, and so she clearly at times is like internalizing it as thinking that it's her body that is the problem. And that I think is just super sympathetic and sad. And I thought that the show handled her story arc like very beautifully by and large.
Yeah. No, I love it. I think it's like this thing where it's like it's not his fault for not being able to like engage in all this like sexual activity because of what he went through, but it shows how having an unresolved issue and having this like deep wound that he's not even able to like talk about, to like address, or to even say like, I have something going on that has nothing to do with you. Like if he had just said like, I haven't been able to like get it up with like my cis ex-girlfriend either, and that ended that relationship, I think that it probably like Terry's anxiety levels would just like go back to like the floor.
Right.
You know, they'd be dating today. Like,
but
I think
shows
that
you how something like what happens to Donnie can like reverberate out and like affect many different people, right? Like not just Terry, but his other ex-girlfriend whose mom he lives with, which is just a weird interesting detail. She's great.
So good. I think that like it like shows how that is gonna like echo and start to like eat away at the other person and like and shrink her. Like he is a shameful person, and like by being with him it's like pulling her back into shame patterns. And she like talks about like, you know, she's like a an adult like trans therapist who's like moved countries clearly, and it's like, I've got my new life, and like there's like he makes a reference to her posting like rainbows and unicorns all over like Twitter and stuff like that. It's like she's like, I'm proud, I'm confident, you're like dragging me back in, and like these insecurities, like this I think the insecurity that like he sees her as a man at the end of the day, and like like how she's
or that he's ashamed to
with.
be with her, or right.
Yeah, it's like so there's so many different versions of it's like he's afraid to be seen with me because I'm a freak. Even if he doesn't think I'm a freak, he's like thinks that I'm a man. Even if he doesn't think I'm a man, he's like fetishizing me or exploiting me. Like there's so many like little seeds of doubts that like just daily being in society, it's just gonna keep piling it on, and then you have to like go back and be like, okay, that's not real. That's just a bunch of like weird people saying weird stuff. Like it, but it's like, So I feel like it's just a really, really good depiction of like how much trust it takes for her, and how trusting the wrong person, in this case, unfortunately, with Donnie, is like just, sending it haywire, because even though he doesn't see her as any of those things, and he like would ideally be a good partner for her, he can't reassure
overcome
her
his
in that
own
way.
Right.
Yeah, and it's oh god.
I like that the show, I said I wanted to see like another like a coda with Terry, but I do like that the show doesn't have like a happy ending with that, where it's like,
yes,
he has burnt that bridge many times over. I will say, line of the entire show, his dad at the train platform, I laughed so hard. Good luck with the transsexual.
Can I hit it?
Please.
Can I hit it? And good luck with the transsexual.
And he just like glances over to like the three people he's sharing the booth with. It's like unbelievable.
Man, I want that to be like the new like Chapel Roan song. Just like good luck with the transsexual, and like just big glittery lights. Love it.
Weirdly progressive,
so funny.
but like a really aggro British dad or Scottish dad is is my diva of the evening. Every scene with that guy is incredible.
He's really funny. He's
including
really
the
good.
like dramatic scene too. I thought was like very, very well handled.
Of course, yeah, and just all the arguing with Martha, just the like, you've come back for more, you cow. So good.
Yes.
Oh man,
they match
love
each other's
that,
freak in those phone calls.
He was the one for her. He could fix her.
Maybe he could. Maybe
well,
Donnie Sr.
Sam, Donnie Jr. may not have been able to fix Martha, but what are you fixing to give this show on the Review-O-Matic wheel? Every week we place it on a little wheel, and we get dig, and we spin it around, and we figure out what score it's gonna get at random. I clearly guess, is what I'm applying.
I clearly just pick a number out of the hat each week and go like, yeah, I guess it's a C. I think I'm gonna put it in B, just because I do have I have some stuff I bump up against with the final episode, and some of the like pacingness of it, and some of it I think I just don't like 8-episode Netflix dramas anymore. I think I've just seen too many of them. But at times this show is like incredible, and I think it is very, very well thought out, and I did tear up a little bit here or there. A tier to me is like either I was like jumping out of my seat like hype, like in the dumb like, oh, we're watching Redline kind of way, or Death Note, or it's like it moved me to tears, and then S tier is like definitive like Sam media. B is a good ranking. The show good. Baby Reindeer gets a big old B and an attaboy from Sam. Excellent
Yay.
Pitch, Mallory. Still can't believe you pitched this for the Christmas episode. You're a psychopath.
B for Baby Reindeer, Sam. That's all you gotta say. And I've also been saying my way to get into a Scottish accent is like, you're my little baby, you're my little baby reindeer, you're my baby reindeer.
I can't. I'm not even gonna try.
So
after
good.
that masterpiece.
So good. You're my wee little baby reindeer.
It finally happened at the worst time. Martha had my phone number.
If you didn't want to give your phone, you shouldn't be putting it on your website. All sorts of weirdos could be getting at it.
Oh dear.
I'm giving it. I'm doing Scottish, but I'm like adding my grandma's Irish thing where she's like just jumps an octave. You know, she has that.
Yes.
Don't you dare!
Well, Sam, speaking of next year.
Yeah. Speaking of next year, so things are going to be a little different. My pitch for you, Mallory, for our next episode, I'll get into it, is Pluribus. And you may be thinking, audience, is Sam an idiot? Are we going to do another episode that's only, like, covering, like, a third of the season? No, it's going to be covering all of season 1, which isn't finished yet. The reason I'm doing that is because we're going to put out a couple of special episodes between now and the end of the year. So you've got 2 more episodes coming out in December after this one. We're going to double up for 1 week. We're going to take our tier lists from what I've been calling season 1 of the podcast, which is year 1, 2025. We're going to re-tier, like, as every time I tier something, I'm like, maybe I liked that more than I thought, or maybe I was too generous on that. We're gonna take a hard look at how we have rated each other's media, and then also maybe just discuss like some of the highlights of the year, some of the lowlights, and put that all into like a little bit of a special episode as kind of like a fun recap episode. And then we're going to do a little bit of a preview of some of the ways that we're planning on changing up the podcast formula for season 2. Not in any big way, but just like some ideas we've been kicking around. We want to introduce, for instance, a year-long pitch. And that's something that we're going to be bringing to each other to torture each other in a whole new way as we pitch something that's maybe a little bit too meaty to cover in a single week or even like a month, like something big. All of One Piece, maybe, probably not, but yeah, so that's what we're doing.
My friend made me watch all of One Piece, and that will be the thumbnail.
I was wrong about One Piece. Reading 1,000 chapters. What kind of jackass would make that video?
I was wrong about One Piece. Oh,
what a trite title. Only an idiot would make that kind of video. Anyway, that's been Baby Reindeer, Pluribus in 3 weeks. Stay frosty. I don't know.
Stay frosty. Stay smiling. And
hey, I know.
Have a cup of tea on us.
Sent from my iPhone.
Okay,
all right,
well,
we're done.
well, all right, goodbye. See you.